Hey guys, it's Tymon here, and today I'd like to announce the official release of my CFOP course over at cubing.gg. The goal of this course is to meet you wherever you are at in your CFOP journey, so whether you're a beginner, intermediate solver, or a pro cuber, there will be something of value in this course for you. In today's video, I'd like to give you a taste of what the course has to offer by showing you 5 areas that hold people back in their F2L solving. So hopefully by the end of this video, you'll have an idea of what's stopping you from improving, and you'll have a plan on how to move forward. Let's get started. So reason number 1 is not knowing the best solutions for each F2L pair. So when you first learn F2L, it's most likely you learned it using an intuitive method, which is good, but once you're comfortable with that, you should start learning algorithms for each pair so that you know exactly what to do when you see that pair. So if you're using intuitive F2L, you might find that you're doing a lot of rotations for each pair. You might find that you're also doing unnecessary triggers and you're not sure what you're really doing with them. So as an example, we have this pair. And this is a pair that takes a lot of moves to solve, but just knowing one solution that's good for this pair will make you very confident every time you see this pair, and so then you can solve it quickly. Also, learning a specific solution for each F2L case will help you to develop good look ahead, because each time the way the pieces are moving around the cube is the same. So over time you'll memorize how each piece moves when you do that algorithm. So as an example of a case you might encounter, this pair, you split the pair with R, U2, R prime. And then you solve this case with R, U, R prime, and then you just insert the slot. Another example is when you have this pair in the back. This is generally a hard pair, but it's even worse when you get it in the back slot. So a way to deal with this is you put it over here, do a soon, and then you insert it here. Another example is this pair right here, where the corner is solved and the edge is in the top layer. So this is a difficult case because there's just no good solutions for it. But one that I'd recommend is F prime, then solving the 3 mover, which breaks the cross, but you solve it with R, U, R prime. And then you insert this cross piece back with U prime, R prime, F, R. So your goal should be to be able to do each pair from every angle, or at least have an idea of what your ideal solution is for every angle of every pair. But at the start, that might seem very daunting. So just to start, learn each F2L case for the front right slot when it's oriented, and then you can move on to other slots from other angles later. So to find good F2L solutions, I'd recommend my CFOP course at cubing.gg, as it's all of the algs I recommend. I go over all angles and all the weird algs you can do for back slots and side slots, stuff like that. A free resource is looking over top cubers reconstructions. However, that does make it pretty difficult to find the specific alg you're looking for. So the course is a really good resource to find whatever weird case you're looking for really quickly. So reason number 2 is not using Keyhole. Keyhole is a very useful technique for F2L, which allows you to do X crosses very easily, and it just helps you deal with really bad cases in the middle of F2L. So Keyhole is pretty much where you have one piece already solved, and the other piece is in the top layer, usually. And then you misalign the D layer, so that the free slot is over another free slot, and then this allows you to insert the piece in the top layer into that free slot. Then you can undo the D move, and you solve the pair. Normally, this would take a lot more moves, as this corner is in the slot and it's kind of blocking your way into the slot. So you might have to do something like this, which is a lot more moves. So here's another example where I can use Keyhole to make an X cross. So this edge is solved with this corner attached to it, and this red edge is also solved. So we just need to solve this edge and this edge. And then ideally, I'd want to solve the edge that corresponds to this corner as well, so then I get a free pair at the start of F2L. So to do that, I can solve this edge with an L2. Then I can insert this edge, and then the edge that corresponds to the corner is right here, and we already have the cross misaligned. So since this is not solved either, the corner that go between these 2 edges, I can just use this free slot to insert this edge. Then I can align the cross, and I have an X cross. So the next reason is bad look ahead. The idea of look ahead is that while you're solving one thing, you're looking ahead to the next thing you're going to solve. So as an example, I've finished my X cross and I want to solve a second pair. So I look at this pair, and now that I've identified what the pair is, I can immediately start ignoring it, just solve it by muscle memory, and while I'm doing that, I'm trying to find my next pair. So in this case, I see this piece and this piece. So I'm tracking those 2 while I'm doing the first pair. So this edge is going here, and the corner is back here. And then I can immediately rotate and start doing the next pair, and I can just keep doing that for the whole solve. So this allows you to pause way less during solves, and if you have perfect look ahead, I guess you don't pause at all, but that's pretty rare. So the first thing you need to do to be able to like start practicing look ahead is make sure you know how you're going to solve each pair. So that ties into our first point. You just need to know all of your solutions, or you just need to be able to do your pairs blind, but it's pretty hard to do that without knowing the algs. So as an example, I can look at this pair and close my eyes and just do it, and it's solved. So once you can do that, that means that if you have a pair, instead of closing your eyes, you just move your eyes to the next pair and start tracking it. So it's right here. So once you're able to do pairs blindfolded, you should move on to doing solves where, let's say you predict cross. So here, I predicted that I need to do D prime, R prime to solve this piece. And then I'll solve this piece and this piece with U2, L prime, F prime, L. And then align the cross with D. So then while I'm doing that, I'm not looking at the cross. I'm just looking for my next pair. So I see this piece, I see this piece. And they're gonna end up here and here. So then I'm going straight into that, and while doing that, I'm not looking at those pieces, I'm looking for this pair. And then while I'm doing that pair, I'm looking for this piece and trying to find the other one, so then I see it's here. And then while I'm doing this pair, I'm looking at this piece and this piece. And I just do that for all of F2L. And then you can even try doing it for last layer, but it's much harder because there are more pieces to track. Another drill you can try is doing one pair and then trying to predict where your next pair is going to be before you start doing that. So I'm going to do this pair first, and then I'm going to make the red-green pair my second pair. So this is the corner and this is the edge. Now I'm going to solve this with just LU moves into the back here. So I know that this corner will stay here, and the edge, I believe, is going to end up in the same place it is right now. Oh, I'm not quite sure. So I'm gonna close my eyes, do this pair, and I think I messed up, but let's say it is where I thought it ended up. So I'm gonna do this corner and this edge, and yeah, I got it wrong. But as you can see, that is a good drill, as it's pretty challenging even for me. So it's a good way to practice your look ahead. And if you're able to predict your second pair, that makes it so you're 2 pairs ahead on your look ahead. So you have a lot of time to find your third pair or fourth pair or whatever. So the next point is not utilizing inspection enough. The more you can predict an inspection, the easier look ahead it will get. So if you predict cross, you have, let's say, 0.7 seconds to predict your first pair. But if you predict cross +1, well then you've already predicted that first pair, so you have another maybe half a second to a second of time where you can predict your next pair, which would be the second pair in that case. And if you predict cross +2, well then you have a ton of time to predict pair 3. So the more you inspect, the better you're gonna get at look ahead, or the easier you'll make it for yourself to get good look ahead. So how do you go from, let's say, being able to predict 3 cross pieces to planning cross +1? So essentially, you just want to think about where the pieces you're looking at are going, and this might take you minutes or sometimes hours. Let's say you make it the goal to predict pair 1. Well, if you're only able to predict 3 cross pieces, you might need to spend 15 to 20 minutes on this. But if you do that 15 to 20 minutes, like 10 times, so you spend hours practicing it, at some point you're going to get good enough at it that it's going to be automatic and you don't even really need to think about it. So in this case, I can predict 2 pairs pretty easily. Like that, because, well, I've spent like thousands of hours practicing that. It just comes naturally to me, but trust me, at the start it was very difficult. Last year when I was in Ohio for the Great Lakes Championship, I was staying at a friend's place for about a week, and he was at university, so he would leave in the morning and come back in the evening. And for those like 6 to 8 hours that he was at university, I'd just be sitting at his place going between doing attempts of predicting full F2L. That would take me like anywhere from 2 to 10 minutes, and then doing a few of those, getting really tired, taking a few hours break, and then going back to it. Then he would come back home and I'd be like, yeah, I predicted F2L once. So this is something that's going to take a lot of effort and a lot of time, and that's completely normal. You won't get it right at first, but it's really rewarding when you do get it right and you see that the pieces you were planning are solved. And it's also a very tiring drill, so don't be worried if you notice that you get tired after a few attempts. That's normal, but over time that fatigue is going to make you better. So just keep doing it and don't go too hard, because you might fry your brain. So once you've developed good look ahead, it's also very important to start looking for edges that are oriented. And a lot of people don't understand edge orientation in F2L like at all. So the basic concept is that if an edge is matching the top color with your front or back center, that means it's oriented. And when it's oriented, it means you can solve that edge and its whole F2L pair with just R, L, and U moves. So it's just nice finger tricks essentially. And if you have the opposite, where the top color of the edge is matching either the right or the left side, that means you'd have to rotate to use R or L moves to solve it. So with this, let's say we have these two pairs. If I just looked ahead to these two edges, and I see this one is oriented and this one is misoriented, well then I can just choose this pair based off of that, and then that eliminates an extra rotation. Because if I were to do this pair first, I would rotate, and then I have to rotate back for this pair since I left it. So once you develop a good understanding of EO, you can move on to pseudo-slotting, because EO is very fundamental to doing pseudo-slotting, and without it, you can't really tell which pairs are which. So for example, these two pairs are exactly the same, except in this case the edge is oriented, and in this case the edge is misoriented. If you don't see that, then you would just do this for both pairs, and one would end up with a misoriented edge and the other would get solved. So the way you'd recognize that in a solve is this color here on the top is matching the center, and right here top color is matching the side. So that's how you know this is a flip pair. So to solve it, you'd split the pieces and then solve it with free mover, whereas this one is just a solve slot, so you can insert it like that. So pseudo is a very difficult concept to understand and get good at, but we go over how to practice it and how to understand it better in the course. So the last reason is very fundamental, and that is bad technique. So for example, bad finger tricks. An example of that specifically would be right here. I want to solve this pair, and to do that I need to do R, U2, R prime. But in this case, the only efficient way to do those free moves is to do a left to U2 and then R prime, because otherwise either you have to do U prime, or you have to regrip your right hand to the bottom and then do a normal U2 with your right hand, and both of those lose a lot of time. So learning all of the basic finger tricks is very important for fast F2L, and then getting good at those finger tricks, being very, very precise with them and being able to do them quickly and under pressure is another thing. So first you need to learn all of the finger tricks and be familiar with when to use them. So some finger tricks you have to make sure that you learn so that you can learn all the algs that are out there. For example, S moves. There are two types of S moves. There's a regular S move where you do it like this. So the other type of S move would be like a push move like that, which I can do just on a cube like this, but doing it in an algorithm is very difficult. So just make sure you learn this with both hands, and that unlocks a lot of algorithms for you. Like for example, you can do a cross edge like this. Of course, besides that, you need to know all of the U2 finger tricks, D2 finger tricks, and stuff like pinch F moves. You need to know how to do M moves with your either right or left hand. Usually you don't need both, although for some OLLs doing M with your left hand is also useful. So if you can, learn it with both hands. And then you need to know how to do double M2s, which are only used for H and Z prims. So you just need to learn M2 with one hand, and then you'll do all your U moves with the other. And then you need to be able to do them precisely. So to do that, you would essentially do very slow solves where you focus on each turn and completing it exactly so that the magnets align and help you complete the turn, and you're never relying on corner cutting, because once you start turning faster you'll naturally start corner cutting. But if you're using corner cutting when you're turning slowly, then you're going to end up relying on it way too much in your actual solves, and you'll have a lot of lockups. It's going to be very difficult to implement any of these points if you have the wrong mindset. I believe that you shouldn't focus too much on your results. You should focus on improving your technique and algorithms at all times. So when you're practicing, don't focus on what times and averages you're getting. Just focus on improving a certain aspect of your solves, and over time, your times are sure to go down. So my course is currently available at cubing.gg for $50 off. from the full price, which will be the case for next week after this video is released. The course covers everything from the basics to the most advanced aspects of CFOP. So it goes from not knowing how to solve cross and teaching you how to get better at cross and doing it more efficiently, to intuitive F2L and then all of the best solutions for all the F2L cases from every angle, to how to do pseudo-slotting and how to get better at it. And then it teaches all of OLL, PLL, and then teaches all of the ZBLL algorithms that I use and how to recognize the cases. The link will be at the top of the description, so if you're interested, check it out. So I hope you learned a lot from this video, and that's all from me today. See ya.